This lesson is on thesis statements, the backbone of an essay. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to define what a thesis statement is, explain the role of a thesis statement in an essay, and use a formula to create a thesis statement. So your keywords are thesis statement, purpose, especially look out for how thesis statements relate to the writing traits, and the process, keeping in mind the formula, and looking for how to take a working thesis statement and turn it into a full thesis statement. So we start with what is a thesis statement? And simply speaking, a thesis statement is a single sentence that names the claim and maps out the central idea of the paper. The key words here are single sentence, just one, and it needs to name the claim of the paper. This sentence is the last sentence of the introduction paragraph, so it is the last thing your readers will see before they start reading how you have developed your ideas. And you want to set it up well so that it gives your readers a clear idea of exactly what they're going to see and how they're going to see it. And it needs a claim, which is something that can be argued or proven. You do not want an that was obvious type statement, because that's too hard to develop and it's not going to keep your readers engaged. So looking at some examples, if we were to start with the topic of elephants, a thesis statement on a paper about elephants might be that elephants are critically endangered animals due to a harsh habitat and the actions of human beings. A thesis statement would not be, elephants are big animals with tusks. The first one works as a thesis statement because it gives us something to explore and explain, with something to analyze for our readers. The second one doesn't work because it's too obvious. They already know that and they're not going to read any further. Looking at a different one, the best type of sandwich. A thesis statement might be a ham and cheese sandwich is the best type of sandwich there is. Ham and cheese sandwiches are made of bread, ham, and cheese, however, does not work for the best type of sandwich. It's an obvious statement of fact, and it doesn't have a claim. So, looking at why we need thesis statements, we should refer back to our writing traits. So far, we've talked about ideas and organization, and thesis statements tie into both. When it comes down to ideas, they spell out the main idea and its supporting points for the reader. That is the biggest thing a thesis statement does in a paper. Names the main idea and its big supporting points. But it also ties into organization because it names the supporting points and it lays them out in the order the reader will be seeing them. It tells the reader what order to expect this idea being developed in and gives them a map to follow through the paper. To sum up, thesis statements to name the main idea and preview the paper's organization from the get-go. So how do we make one? A thesis statement has a basic formula. Quite simply, it's your topic plus your claim, and that will lead you to a working thesis statement. If we need to go to a full thesis statement, you start with your topic and your claim, and then you add in your supporting points to get to this final model. So, if you're using our writing process, you start with your topic and a claim and create a working thesis statement. Then, to finalize it, you just add in your supporting points. For example, elephants are endangered animals for multiple reasons might be a good working thesis statement. We see where it's a little vague at the end because we don't know all the reasons yet, we haven't researched. Then, once we have researched, we add in supporting points that elephants are critically endangered animals due to a harsh habitat and the actions of human beings. We've added in supporting points, and we would expect to see paragraphs on each of those throughout our essay. Take a chance and practice your skills here. Use the following prompt to develop a working thesis statement, then make up some supporting points that you might use in an essay to turn that working thesis statement into a full thesis statement. So here's the prompt. If you were given the opportunity to be apprenticed to any person, living or deceased, who do you think would make the best teacher and why? Make sure you give yourself time to do this practice and put it in your notes. And remember that thesis statements name the main idea of an essay and provide an outline to the organization of the body of a paper. They are critically important for both developing your idea and giving your reader a map to what you are saying.